So today I get the lovely pleasure of putting in a compressor, one of those R290 ones. It's gonna be so much fun. Gotta love it. Just love it to pieces. So yeah, let's get there. All right, here's the unit in question. As you can see, R290 compressor. Right now we're just letting the gas out. You're outside, so it's not a big deal. This is propane after all. So letting us get all the refrigerant out. Already went in, and I cleaned the condenser coil. This thing was completely plugged with grease. Completely disgusting. Yeah. We're going to start ripping this thing apart. When you're working on R290 systems like this, you do not want to just sweat out. Don't sweat out anything. You have to vent it out. So come in with your tube cutters, cut into it, come over here, cut into here, and vent the refrigerant. Don't unsweat until all the refrigerant's out. Otherwise, it will just, flash in your face, and you definitely don't want that. So, yeah, let's dig into this. All right. As you can see, mostly done venting, but if you look at the ground there, yeah, you're still off-gassing just a little bit of propane. I took off the bullet valve, which is over here. Yeah, there it is. Now, when you're using these, you can use them once. That gasket is only meant to be used one time. I know some old guys are going to say, yeah, go in, take them off, put them back on, use them again. Do not use them again, especially with R290 systems. You do not want to leak in these things. But once we put this new compressor in, we're going to be putting in with ports, so we can gas it up and check pressures in the future. This location has a, well, they don't have open flames. All their fryers and grills are all electronic, so we don't have to worry about open flames or anything like that. All right, so I flushed out all the propane out of here, so it should be good to sweat out now. But as you can see, I got my umbrella set up, so I'm not sitting there baking in the parking lot. So let's get this done. But yeah, that's what I mean when you sweat everything out and it will flash on you. So you must be very careful when you're dealing with R290. When you're brazing and unsweating stuff, make sure this stuff here goes to gold, like this color right here, you see? That way you know it won't stick when you let it touch again. All right, so we got this wired up. This is going to be your line voltage here, the brown wire on the top. You have your neutral over here on the side, over here. You can't see. And you have your ground here for these kind of compressors. Pretty easy, just like for like. All you gotta do is take off the old ones, put the new ones on. Pretty easy. Heat control is very important when you're brazing, so you want to heat up the pipe first and then the fitting area, and then bring your braze rod in there. The quicker you're done, the better. All right. So we've been holding pressure for a good long time, about 30 minutes. No leaks. We're bringing inside, vacuum down, charge it up. All right. So we vacuumed down everything. And because these kind of systems are a critically charged system, you have to have the exact amount of refrigerant in here. If you don't, the system won't run properly. So let's weigh this in. This one requires 2.3 ounces. Yeah. All right. 2.3 ounces, how much this thing takes. Not very much. All right, went a little over at 2.43 ounces, but it should be fine. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on and see how she runs. All right, pressure's looking about perfect, 100 degree. Coming out of that coil, it should be about 175. We're a little under that, but we're also a little cooler area. Suction's about negative 10 degree coil. Oh yeah, we're rocking. Let's watch a drop in temp. All right, we're reading Just under 17 degrees. Looking good. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Because waiting around for this thing to come all the way down to temp is not fun. And I don't have the time for it. So let's get out of here. All right. Heading home now. Good to go. So go over everything. We went in there to replace that compressor because the old one was equalized. It was getting power, but wasn't pumping. Easy fix. So obviously when you change compressor, you got to change the dryer. Didn't need to replace the metering device because the system has a TXV, very, very small TXV, one of those little tiny like stainless steel ones. So I wasn't too worried about replacing a cap tube or anything. But obviously, when you're doing this kind of stuff, you definitely want to be flowing with nitrogen because it helps prevent the copper from oxidizing and getting all those flakes inside the system. I only had enough nitrogen to actually, crash test the system. So I didn't flow with nitrogen like I should have. System's running fine. Gassed it up, waiting to charge and everything. But yeah. It's running great now. Once we started, it was at like 75. By the time I left, it was like at 16 degrees. I was going to sit there and watch it drop the last couple degrees because I didn't have time. I had to get home. I've already been on that job for way too long, watching that vacuum come down. Yeah, obviously, heat control is very important when it comes to brazing. That little blanket you saw I used, I got from the supply house for $30. Pretty cheap and easy to get. And the wet rag is real good to use, especially on the back of on the dryer so you don't destroy the dead skin in there, which is what makes dryers work properly. If you get that stuff too hot, it won't work properly. It won't remove moisture from the system like it should. But yeah, it's just a simple job, easy day. Luckily, I was able to take the freezer outside because I was not about to be sitting there inside the kitchen, sitting on the floor in front of everybody. All my stuff all over the place, brazing, doing stuff. No, I wasn't going to be sitting there in the way. So I was rolled outside by my van, parked my van funny just so I was out of the way, did all my brazing outside. Typically, it's how you want to do it with some of these systems with propane because it's vented. You don't have to worry about any open flames. I didn't have to worry about that anyway inside because everything's electric. But still, you need to be cautious when you're brazing, especially with R290 systems. If you saw me brazing earlier, you saw it had some bit of flame out because that oil will hold on to the propane very easily and cause, fire. So you just got to be careful when you're doing this kind of stuff. Don't just go sweat things out when you haven't flushed it out. Good thing to do if there's already ports to the system is to flush it with nitrogen first and then dump it out and then start sweating everything out. Same thing goes for any of the A2Ls because they're highly flammable. You just got to be careful. So there's other refrigerants that are flammable like this. So R290, you have R600, which is butane. And yeah, all the other new stuff are coming out like R32 for some of the AC stuff. That's methane. It's all highly flammable. So just got to be careful what you're doing. Take the time, figure out what you're doing. Watch some YouTube videos, see how to deal with it, do some research. The last thing you need to do is be like one guy I knew. I forget his name. He didn't know how to properly screw a can of R290. It's one of those ones that screw into a special hose. And as soon as you puncture it, you can't close it. You have to leave the valve on. He didn't know that. He went to go take it off, start spewing R290 all over the place, and he was in a kitchen. He lit his face on fire. You just got to be careful with this kind of stuff. It's easy to work with, but it's very easy to hurt yourself. So be careful out there. Stay safe, please. Especially if you're still learning and you're just looking up like, oh, R290. Be careful. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to get home. It's the end of the day. Sorry, 6:19 in the afternoon. I'm ready to eat some dinner. I'll see you guys.